but I think we might be live. Let me just check on my phone to make sure, and we'll be able to get rocking. I'm super excited, guys. I don't know if you guys are excited. Yay, we are live.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, I'm really excited because today I get to hang out with my friends and my clients, Mr. and Mrs. Afnan, so Paymon and Sara. Super excited to have you guys on here. We've been working together for about 5 weeks now. As you can see, they're proud parents of this beautiful little one here. And you're one of the couples that we get to work with, and I absolutely love working with couples. So, I mean, before we dive in, I'd love for you guys to just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what led you down this path.
Okay. So I'm Paymon, and I'm in sales and marketing, and I DJ on the side as well. Have fun with that. And so, what led me to here is the fact of I used to be able to be very active, and I used to walk everywhere, and then I got my driver's license, so I started driving everywhere, and so that calmed that down. I used to be able to go to the gym, but then the pandemic hit, and I couldn't go to the gym anymore. And
Mm.
then when we got married and my wife got pregnant, her cravings all kicked in, and so did mine. And so I could not let her eat alone. Her delicious food that she was craving all the time, and so with having that, and we had the baby during the pandemic, just around that time, so we weren't able to really get out and go to the gym and do certain things. So everything just piled on top of each other, and I got to a point where I was the heaviest I had been. And then I had done one crash diet where I did lose some weight, but after that diet of 30 days, I couldn't maintain it.
Mm.
And so I ended up gaining weight back. So I saw one of your posts saying that you were giving, a chance to for a contest for some winners, and I just said, hey, maybe this could be the push that we need. Right, for us to do this together, and so I applied onto that contest. I won part of the contest, and was able to bring my wife along with me. And we said, okay, we need to plug into something that we can have as a lifestyle change, so that we don't have to keep on yo-yoing back and forth
Mm.
for the next run. So, and hopefully, that's so far so good for the 5 weeks. It's been surprising. Mhm.
That's amazing. That's so awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that, Paymon. And yeah, I'll turn the mic over to Sara.
My name is Sara, and I do, ever since I've had Malik, I've been doing home baking and
That
um,
hasn't helped either. Mhm.
I'm sure it's delicious.
yeah, Paymon's been my
Tester.
tester.
More than once.
So good.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
Also
delicious.
do interpretation. So I'm a freelance interpretation. So
Mm.
that's also been something that I've been doing since Malik came. Um, I really enjoyed the program. Like Paymon, when Paymon told me about the program, I was like, this is our opportunity to get back on track. Because when I got pregnant, again, like with my cravings and stuff, we were eating everything. And sometimes I would actually use my pregnancy as an excuse because it would be the only time that I could eat everything and whatever without anyone judging me.
Mhm.
And
Uh,
it reached to a point where I gained 55 to 60 pounds during my pregnancy. So it was a lot of, I was the biggest I've ever been. And
mm,
post pregnancy, it was really hard because my tummy expanded and I couldn't control my portions anymore. And
mm,
I tried to go on different types of diets, but again, maintaining it was very difficult. So,
mm,
with the program that you've given us, I find it that I'm not starving myself. That's one thing
mm,
that was hard with all the other diets, starvation. And uh, I feel like we can. I kind of feel like we can eat everything with your diet. Like there's nothing that I feel it's cut. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe some carbs, but it's not something that's not doable for me. And it's very easy for us to maintain it as we go on.
That's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Well, this is really exciting. And I mean, this is one of the biggest reasons why I love doing this because I love being able to celebrate you guys, right? Because
Thank
it's so awesome that you guys are a couple, you're new parents, and that you're able to do this and be able to step in that higher level of yourselves at the same time. Like, do it all and be able to coordinate all of it in itself can be sometimes difficult. So I'm really glad that you guys are finding it's doable with your busy lifestyle, right? And that you're not starving yourself because obviously you need energy to be running after a little one, right? So that's so great. I'm absolutely excited for you guys. And one thing that I did want to ask is, what was, because I actually already touched on this a little bit, but if you could describe it just super quickly and maybe just like 1 or 2 points, like what would you say were some of your biggest struggles that you were going through before getting started with the Purify system?
For me, it was knowing exactly what to eat and the
Mm,
portions of exactly what to eat. Because my
okay.
issue was portion control. Although I could probably eat pretty decently healthy or choose healthier foods or meals, but the portions weren't going to give me the results I really needed. So that was the understanding of the portions was big for me.
you.
Mm, such a good point.
And for me, it was maintaining, and my energy level was very low. And with the diet that you've given us, it's been much better. I used to
Mhm.
fall asleep all the time, but now I don't anymore. I think Human is much happier now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, that's so good. That's amazing. Well, I mean, when it comes to the things that you just mentioned, like having no energy, I feel like that's something that so many of us struggle with, but especially I could only imagine, right? Especially if either you're even breastfeeding and you're right, you have to run after a little one, right? There's even more that you're trying to do in every single day. So the fact that you can get some more energy, that's amazing. So those are two amazing things when it comes to the portions. And to touch on yours, Paymon, like I feel like a lot of people, especially you guys, right? You're intelligent people, right? You understand that sugar is not good for you, right? You understand that eating fast food is not good for you, right? These aren't things that we have to tell you. And you can eat fairly healthy, but if you don't know how much for your body, and of what types and how to like put that together. I always describe it kind of like gears in a car, right? It's like you can have some of the gears there, but if one of them is not turning, right? If you have some of the right foods, but if you don't have the right proportions, then the whole car doesn't actually drive, right? It doesn't get anywhere. So that's such a good point, Paymon, that you touched on with that. So that's awesome. And I mean, I know that you guys have been working with us for about 5 weeks now, which is great. And I know that that Sara, you had mentioned, being able to feel even better when you're wearing like your leggings, and which is awesome, right? We always love to like the weight loss is one thing, but it's like everything that it does for you in your life. That's actually what matters, right? So, I mean, I would love for you guys to touch on, what were some of your biggest gains, I guess, your biggest wins that you can say that you've gotten so far with the program, whether it be weight loss, inches, how you feel, whatever it is.
I would say for me, it was both the weight loss and the inches because first 2 weeks, definitely my bloating came down, my stomach shrank, and I felt my pants and everything fit so much more better, so
That's
much
awesome.
better than before. They were getting snug, and they were getting snug, and then everything was fitting nicely to the point that with some of my pants, I need a belt again, which is nice.
Ah,
Which is really
yay,
nice
that's
to have
awesome.
that. And to have your wife tell you that, oh, look, you're looking good. It's working. I was like, well, thank God somebody noticed.
Yeah, like
So
rawr.
yeah. So that's been my biggest my, and actually I will say this too, because with the meal plan I was so much into intermittent fasting before, and trying to use that to control most of my calories and things like that. And starting on your plan, it says you have to eat in the morning. And what there is to have to eat is eggs and 2 pieces of toast or the sprouted toast. And I thought, well, I love eggs. Like I could have an egg diet. I'd be good with that.
Same.
So having that in the morning with some coconut oil and stuff like that, it was like my ideal breakfast. Like I love that. It was like it's my favorite. And even the oats, I'm enjoying that as well to have on some other days too. So having that and then having that and still losing the weight was a
Mm.
big eye opener for me. It was a good feeling because I thought, like, how am I going to lose weight? I keep eating every 2, 3 hours and something's in my mouth or whatever. And, but it still worked. And I was very, very happy with that.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I love that, right? You get to eat all the time and you still lose weight. And like you said, I think that's one of my favorite things you guys said, both of you, right? Sara and Paymon, that you don't feel restricted, right? Because that's not fun and that's not sustainable if you feel so restricted. Like, with keto, you're cutting out like an entire food group. And, it's a lot of times the thing with keto is people, I know you guys didn't touch on that, but I mean, it's just a good example of restriction, right? And why a lot of people can lose some weight on it, but then they end up like ballooning out after, because the moment you taste, those carbs, you're like, game over, I'm done. It's Christmas time. I decided to have one cookie. Now I've eaten like the whole plate of cookies, right? Or summertime at a barbecue. So that's such a good point, Paymon. And how about you, Sara?
I think my big win has been in losing inches, and that's been giving me boosting my confidence for sure when I'm wearing
Mm.
something. Um, I feel happier when I see myself in the mirror. I definitely feel confident and happy, and yeah, I think Paymon said everything else, so I'm not gonna repeat what he said.
That's awesome. That's so good. So awesome. And those are like what we call, I guess they're the non-scale victories, right? Which are still, the scale is obviously still there. You're seeing the number go down every week, which is great. But like you said, you're actually feeling happier, and that's what counts. Because you can also have the scale go down, but if you're not eating the right kinds of foods, then your energy can be going down too, right? Which a lot of other systems, like you said, you used to feel starved and deprived, and that can lead to you having even less energy. Whereas when you're actually combining the right amount of food, like you guys said, eating at the right intervals, you can just like have so much more energy, be able to lose weight, and not have to worry about going to the gym. Because I know you guys were talking about that before, right? That even with your crazy lifestyle and not being able to go to the gym all the time, you're still losing weight just from the meal plan and the nutrition, which is awesome. And like, how does that feel to you guys in terms of probably shifting a lot of the beliefs you maybe had about losing weight, in terms of like, what's the first thing you do if you want to lose weight? Let's join a gym, or let's start working out, right? When really it's like backwards. It's really, you go to the nutrition first. So like, how does that feel for you guys actually seeing the results of that on your body right now?
It truly confirmed that abs are made in the kitchen.
So good. Mic drop.
Yes. Like that's it just confirmed that yeah, you don't need to go to the gym if you're eating the right things.
Mm,
Yeah.
so, so good.
Mhm.
So amazing. I didn't know if you were going to add something to that, Sarah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. That's so good. I love that. And one thing I want to ask you guys is, did you have any hesitation? So like before you got started, was there anything that you had as an objection or a hesitation before you decided to actually say yes to the program?
My only hesitation was the fact that I felt like I kind of knew what the diet was going to be like. I felt like I knew what most things were, and I was like, well, I can kind of just do it on my own.
Mm,
Uh, because I had done a course or a diet before. But again, going into it and seeing the plan, it's totally different, obviously, than what I thought it was even going to be at all.
mm,
That's one thing. But at the same time, it's when you're not in a plan like this, or you don't have, there's no accountability,
mm.
accountability,
Accountability. Yeah.
and so that's where although I can say that I feel like I knew what to do, I wasn't doing it. So that was the obvious obvious point that I needed the structure,
Mm,
and the structure
yes,
was definitely helpful for me.
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, I
amazing.
think I also agree with Paymon. Like we both kept on saying that we know what kind of food we need to eat and we know what we need to do in order to get on track. But when we saw the program, it was completely different than what we thought it would be. And having a program and a coach like yourself, it definitely helps us to stay on track. And
Mm.
also having each other, we keep on putting each other on track as
Mhm.
Yeah.
time I get a craving or he gets a craving, we keep on reminding ourselves that, it's not part of our diet. He keeps on telling me all the time. It's always me with the cravings,
Mhm.
not him.
Mhm.
He keeps on saying,
So
this is
good.
not part of the diet.
You're like, okay.
He puts me back on track. So, yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
so good. Those are such good points. I love that. And I love that you guys are working together. That just makes me so happy. Because so many couples can do it, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I like incentivize couples to do it together. And because it really does, it gives you better results. Even if you were the one that was initially like, reaching out, wanting to do it, being able to use the same system and be able to have your spouse do it too. It's like, it gives you that extra level up. And it's fun, right? When you guys are both celebrating wins together, it brings you even closer, which is super great. I know Omar and I love doing that too, right? Going to the gym, like eating right. It brings you into that almost higher level of intimacy. I know for us, right? Which is really fun and it's super cool. So it's like an extra little outing, but in a way it's an outing, but at the same time it's something that you can do together, right? You can even make it fun, like even when it comes to meal prepping or whatever, you can start to enjoy it and have fun with it. So that's awesome. I love that you guys are doing that and that you acknowledge the fact that, yeah, you've been on other programs, there was other things you've tried and probably thought that this was going to be the same kind of thing. But like Paymon said, people are always surprised at how different it is. They're like, oh my gosh, this is totally different from everything I've ever done before. And yeah, I mean, we're always upfront, right? That you pay for results, right? So we always do have a little bit of a higher level of investment to get started with us, but it's literally just because you are pretty much 100% guaranteed to get the results and actually get the education, which is a big thing, right? You actually get educated to be able to know how to sustain it. And that's one of the big things that we really love to give to people. So you guys can keep on with it even after, right? So that's awesome. And I guess one just really quick last question is, at what moment did you realize once you did get started that like, okay, yes, I 100% made the right decision?
I think you actually hit it on the last point you said, is the education. I've
Mm,
actually really been enjoying the education value of it, and also having you as a coach as well, because of being able to ask the questions of, like, substituting certain foods. Is
mm,
this okay to have? Is that okay to have? Things like just having that education, and why not? And like
mm,
it's not just like why it's not, but why it is good. Two different
mm,
things. So having that as the education, I feel that even after the program, we will be able to sustain it because we'll know what we're looking for. Even
mm,
when we want to go out and eat, a burger or whatever on some of the days, like especially with summer coming and barbecues or whatever, but not feeling to be guilty for having that meal or that day or whatnot, but knowing how just to jump back into it, what to have just to jump back into it and to get back
mm,
into our normal routine kind of thing. Having that in our back pocket feels so good. Mhm,
mm.
mhm,
That's amazing. That's super awesome. So excited for you guys. And Sarah, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add to that.
Just one thing, the weekly Q&As have been
Mm.
a great thing that you've been doing. I think for myself is maybe you never see my face, but I'm always in the background listening.
Yeah, always really busy with the little one, right?
Yeah. But I feel that seeing the amount of people that come on, and that also gives me the thought of that we're not alone that are struggling, or that we're struggling. There are this many other people that are going through this as well, and that's also another great thing to see.
That's such a good point. I love that. I hadn't thought about that when it came to the Q&As before. I had thought about it with the Health Hub and the private community, but now with the Q&A. So that's amazing. I'm really glad that you brought that point up, because it's true, right? If you feel like you're alone, you almost feel like, oh no, like, is there something wrong with me, right? When you're not, there's like so many other people, like all of the struggles that you guys have, and that, anyone who's watching this that you have, like, there's so many other people with the same struggles. So that's such a good point, Sara, that you're definitely not alone. Well, it's been so great getting to chat with you guys, and I know you're super busy, so I want to honor and respect your time, but I really did want to celebrate you two, because you're doing amazing, doing so great, and I love that you guys are our couple, right, that we're working with. So I absolutely love that. And I guess one quick question is, would you recommend it? Because I know we have some people watching, right, and we really do like to help as many people as possible, because I really believe that this is the kind of information that like should be taught in school, right? Unfortunately, it's not. So I really do believe in getting this in the hands of as many people as possible, to be able to help yourself, your families, your kids, right? And really be able to understand nutrition and food, and not have to feel like you're just stuck in this never ending yo-yo weight loss and weight gain hoop. So like, would you recommend this to anyone else who's watching this live right now? Would you recommend the program and Purify system to them?
100%.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For the
Awesome.
education and the knowledge that's there, 100%.
And
That's
it's
amazing.
easy to maintain. It's definitely a plan that you can maintain down the road.
So good. That's amazing. I love that, right? It's not about just losing it, it's about keeping it off, right? Because a lot of times if you lose it and you gain it back, it's even worse than if you had never lost it in the first place, because then that just totally messes with your head. So that's so amazing, right? Being able to actually sustain the results long term. Because it is my mission to be the last person and the last coach that you ever go to be able to get something in your hands weight loss wise, where you get to your results and you keep them off. So that's super amazing. Thank you so much, guys. And anyone who's watching this and who relates to Paymon and Sara, right? And who maybe, anything that they've said has really touched a heartstring and been like, what is this? Like, what's the system? What's the program? Just comment ready below, and I'd be happy to reach out and give you some information, or even set up a consult call. It would be our pleasure to help you guys get some results like Paymon and Sara. So on that, guys, hope you have such an amazing rest of your evening. Celebrating you guys again. You're doing so awesome. Keep it up. And we'll see you guys again. I'll see you guys again next week on our Q&A. But for the rest of you guys watching, we'll see you guys again probably tomorrow live on Facebook. So ciao, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Paymon and
you.
Sara. Bye.